Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Is it over yet? Is it over yet? What's going on, everybody? The Philadelphia 76ers fall to the Dallas Mavericks by a score of 118 to 115 in their third and final scrimmage here in the bubble at Orlando. And just to start off, I just want to say I do not care one bit. I mean, this game went all the way down to the end, went into overtime. I don't know whose decision it was to go into overtime, but it was a bad one. It's just past 11 p.m. here on the East Coast, and I'm tired. I literally almost fell asleep watching the second half of this game. Just a boring taste to it. There were things, again, that I liked and things I really did not like and kind of concerned me going forward, but nonetheless, just a scrimmage, and I'm glad to be done with scrimmages heading into regular basketball on Saturday. The Sixers came out in this one, and this was their worst performance by far out of the three. They looked lackadaisical. They looked clueless. They looked like they did not know what they were doing. Joel Embiid sat out again for precaution reasons. Glenn Robinson III was out. Raul Neto was out. But the guys that were in had a terrible start to this game. Ben Simmons ended up shooting, I think, 2 for 9 in this game. Was just terrible. Ben Simmons, we were using him in the high post. He was, taking up the ball sometimes, taking it out of Shake's hands, bringing it up the court. He was getting to his spots, but overall just could not hit. Ben Simmons really could not find the basket tonight. He finishes with 4 points, 2 assists, and 9 rebounds. He did finish with 9 rebounds. That was the bright spot of his game, and by the way, only ended up playing the first half of this game. Tobias Harris started out this game absolutely terrible as well. He came out shooting, 1 for 7 to start, hit a couple shots after that, ended up having actually a decent game. He started to find his spots on the floor and hit, and overall came out more aggressive in the second half, but the first half was just terrible for Tobias. These starters did not look like they knew what they were doing. Al Horford looked slow, very dreary. He could not guard Kristaps Porzingis, who was having his way. I mean, Al Horford was baby food compared to Kristaps Porzingis in this one. Ben Simmons did pluck Luka Doncic a couple times early, which I liked. Ben's defense obviously was there, but he just did not look comfortable on the offensive side of the ball. Luka didn't have a great game at first. He looked uncomfortable as well. He had obviously putting up numbers in the box score, but Luka, both him and Ben Simmons, honestly, were missing layups, could not finish to the rack, and it just did not look good for those guys. Shake Milton didn't have a bad game. I mean, he just did not look incorporated into the offense. He was not part of the identity. He finishes with 5 points, 3 assists, and 1 rebound. Shot 2 for 5 from the field. See, that is what I don't like in a game which doesn't really matter. The last game where we're just looking for these guys to get the rust off. Shake Milton has to take more than 5 shots. I mean, it's as simple as that. 2 shots from behind the arc for Shake Milton. It cannot happen in 22 minutes of basketball. It just cannot happen. Korkmaz, I mean, he started to hit some shots later on, but overall, what did he finish with, honestly? 9 points, 3 for 12 from the field. Yeah, I mean, Korkmaz was absolutely atrocious in this game, and it's not all his fault. I saw Furkan airball 2 shots in the first quarter. Keep in mind, this is the Korkmaz that the Sixers need to play valuable minutes in the playoffs. This Korkmaz, like I've been saying, guys, I don't know who the consistent shooter on this team is going to be. The Sixers had 13 points in the first quarter. That cannot happen in a regular season game. That cannot happen in a playoff game. Furkan airballed twice in the first quarter. Shake Milton airballed in the first quarter. Both teams were airballing. It was just a very boring, just rusty game. And I didn't really like it. The Sixers started out shooting 3 for 20 from the field. Guys were out of position. One thing I saw all night, guys, from Korkmaz, and it just blows my mind. I hit up DJ Eastwood about this because we literally talked about it in the pregame show. Why is Korkmaz being played as if he is JJ Redick? I'm seeing Korkmaz multiple possessions having the ball in his hands, trying to dribble around screens and shoot off balance. He's not JJ Redick. He's not Marco Bellinelli. Ferk needs to pick and really just pop out to the three-point line. Someone needs to set a pick, and he needs to roll around it and catch and shoot. That's what Furkan Korkmaz is. Not a dribble drive kind of guy, shoot one off balance from mid-range. That is not Furkan Korkmaz. You saw how uncomfortable he is. Alec Burks actually had a pretty good game. 15.7 assists and 4 rebounds. I'm expecting him to contribute in the actual rotation when we get into the real game. 7 for 15 from the field. Couldn't hit one from outside. But I liked Alec Burks and him hitting some key shots down the stretch, even though it was against the bench players of the Mavericks. But overall, the Sixers starters didn't play too well. Tobias ended up stepping up. He ended up finishing the game with 28 points, 2 assists, and 11 rebounds. 10 for 20 from the field, 3 for 6 from outside in 30 minutes played. I liked the way that Tobias played in the third quarter. The Sixers came out in the third quarter and put up 41 points, which was more than they had combined in the first 2 quarters. They had 39 points at halftime, and they had 41 points in the third quarter. Something in the locker room or wherever they went at halftime, Brett had to have told these guys, you got to come out with more energy. I saw guys rolling off screens. I saw guys doing baseline cuts, whether it was a guy like Matisse Thybulle who came out of the second half and threw one down off a Shake Milton lob. Let me tell you, Matisse Thybulle always has the tenaciousness on defense. He develops an offensive game, and he did hit a couple jump shots, a couple threes. Matisse Thybulle is going to be pretty special, and we need him to be for this playoff team. How about Trey Burke from the Dallas Mavericks? Trey Burke, you remember him? Geez, I wish we could get a combo backup point guard like Trey Burke. Well, guess what? We had him. He had a great game, and then we got rid of him. And Raul Neto played. And Raul Neto, I mean, come on. Trey Burke actually had some buckets against the Sixers tonight. I think he finished with like 9 points. Was playing key minutes, played the overtime. JJ Barea was hitting clutch threes against the Sixers. I mean, come on. Al Horford started off terrible, played a lot better, just like Tobias did in the third quarter. Those two kind of took over. Al finished with 14 points, 2 assists, and 5 rebounds in this game. 6 for 15 from the field. 15 shots for Al Horford in 23 minutes played. I mean, I don't want him taking that many shots. He needs to be better on defense. Like I said, he picked it up in the third quarter, but overall in the first half was getting torched. Al Horford is going to have to be the strong backup center that we need, in case Joel Embiid goes down, depending on what happens. But Joel Embiid, that is like one of the biggest takeaways I had from tonight. This team will go nowhere without Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's presence on the floor is unmatched. We need him. A lot of the people talking about Ben Simmons playing much better without Joel. No. We need Joel Embiid. We need his presence on the offensive rebounding. We need Joe on the low block. We need Joe to draw in other defenders so that he can kick it out to some shooters, because without him, our shooters had no space. Tobias, he was struggling early on. Part of it was him missing shots, but part of it, again, was him not being able to get space. Al Horford can't set a screen. Ben Simmons was just out of whack tonight. And it really did not look good. The Sixers were shooting 26% from the field at halftime. Cannot happen. The Sixers went from shooting 26% at halftime to finishing at 37%. They went from shooting 39% from behind the arc to finishing at 30%. So they went down in that category. Free throws, we just shot above 70%. We're terrible. Guys need to capitalize on easy points. I think we have more rebounds and more assists and more steals in this game. But overall, our first half, we just cannot come out like that against teams. The way we came out in the third quarter, that's how we have to come out right from the jump. It was just nice seeing a guy like Al Horford, who, again, I don't know why he's shooting so many damn threes, but he was out and he hit 3 shots in a row to start the third quarter. That is the Al Horford that we're going to need. Overall, down the stretch, these the second guys and the third unit guys and guys near the end of the rotation, like your Shayaks, your O'Quinns, played the fourth quarter, and it was a nail-biter. And like I said, it was very so boring, very boring. And it went into overtime. And the Sixers ended up losing. We hit a couple shots. They hit a couple shots. And I was actually looking on the last possession of the game for Brett Brown to draw something up, because we needed a 3. First off, Trey Burke was bringing the ball up the floor. We did not foul him, even though Mark Zumov blatantly said the Sixers should foul. He passes it off to, I think, Justin Jackson, who puts the go-ahead bucket in, and then Brett calls a timeout, which I did not understand. Maybe he was just trying to get the game over with. But then he draws up a play, and it goes nowhere. Alec Burks gets stuffed by 2 defenders, shoots it off balance, miss, game over. What I'll say is I'm not going to take away too much from this one like I have the others. The Sixers just got to play better. Hopefully they've, limited down the rotation to who is going to be playing. And hopefully we can rock with 9, 10, 11 guys here in the regular season and maybe even narrow that down to a solid 10 as we enter the playoffs. But I'm so excited to get into the regular season, to see our actual guys, Ben, Joe, and Tobias, playing in the crucial minutes, because the first half of these games are what I've really been looking at. The second half just get very boring. Saturday starts it all against the Indiana Pacers, who we are currently tied with. Oladipo seems to be playing. Sabonis might be okay. So it's going to be a big game to start out. Hopefully we can beat them, go one notch up in the Eastern Conference, and then from there it's all games. 8 games determines our playoff seed, and then we get into a playoff series. There's never been a season like this, but for some reason I'm so damn excited to have a sport back that is going well. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect.